debacle that was the kid that called himself Kenny Trill. And then 2 games in, we didn't even see that kid anymore. He was like, yeah, y'all can just start calling me Kenny Trill. Yeah. First mistake was giving yourself the nickname, and then second of all, being bad at quarterback. You can't do both, dumbass.
And then why poet? Now we got Willie Trill. I don't know what the hell he thinks about, but that's another story.
Willie Trill. He changed his last name too, because it's no longer Cauley Stein. It's either Willie Trill Cauley or Willie Trill Stein. He took the hyphenation off.
I thought it was Willie. Well, it might be Willie Trill Stein, but I thought it was the whole all 4.
No, he took the hyphenation off and just went back to he went back to one name, because apparently before he got to Kentucky he was only using one name, so he went back to one last name and he changed his middle name to Trill. Not a big deal. It's like Marvelous Marvin Hagler. That dude changed his first name to Marvelous. Ocho Cinco changed his name from Chad Johnson to Ocho Cinco, which Chad Ocho Cinco. Yeah, which really wasn't even his number. That's 85. Right. It's Ochieto or something, Ochieto Cinco or something like that. It's 85. Yeah. Dumbass.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah.
But, Nick Marshall's with the Jaguars. That's who we ended up signing over.
Yeah, that was just something that Falcons thing was in the Bleacher Report that they had their eye on him as a 7th rounder or undrafted guy. Okay. God, we still have time, don't we? All right. In the world of boxing, apparently Manny Pacquiao is considering now retiring. And and the president of the Philippines is like, yes, Manny, end it today because you're going to end up like Muhammad Ali.
No, why would Muhammad Ali tweeting everything? Like, what does that mean? Like, Muhammad Ali is
that doesn't mean he's good, Rob.
8-1.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's good. That's sound advice by that president there. Stop while you can.
But you remember the week before the fight, I told you that's what Freddie Rose was saying, that he told Manny that at any point that he see him starting to slow down or whatnot, that he was going to make the recommendation that he retired because he didn't want him to end up like him, because Freddie got Parkinson's.
I want to put a lot of stock into what Freddie Roach says. He's the same guy who also said during the time, I didn't even mention this at the time, that he loved to train Floyd. Floyd, he still has so many gaps in his game. Get out of here. I'm good. I'm good, homie. You stick to what you're doing with that dude, with Manny, Pac-Man. Also, kind of in the world of boxing, apparently Mitt Romney wants to show that he's not afraid of black people. So he's going to get into the ring with Evander Real Deal Holyfield so that he can make a spectacle, furthermore, of himself in some sort of charity boxing, which immediately brings to my mind Martin and Tommy Hearns. Immediately.
Right.
First thing I think about when some celebrity wants to get into the ring with an actual boxer. You know what I mean? Because all you need is Evander to forget what time it is and just murder Mitt Romney in the middle of that ring. They had like some sort of little weird weigh-in today. Oh, it's so bad. He's so white and pasty. You know what I mean? He's like 70. God, what's happening, man? Like, why does Evander keep putting himself in these positions for me to talk about him the way I do? Like, it's not my fault. I would rather not.
But this is a good look for Evander.
Why is it? If he kills a presidential candidate, how is that a good look?
Good for the Democrats.
Okay, but how is that a good look for Evander?
Hey, man.
He messed around and slipped one in on this dude and rearranged his spinal cord or something. It's a bad look for Evander.
I'm just saying, the Bushes might have gave Evander some money to not get run down.
Ain't enough money in the world to do that, man. It's like, you got to be good. Why is Evander doing this to himself?
Why is Mitt Romney?
You know why Mitt Romney doing it? Because I'm not scared of black people, and I'm going to prove it to everybody.
Well, why not? Okay, well, if you ain't afraid, why didn't you call Mike Tyson?
Well, because he's not that stupid. That's why. Like, he saw what Mike. Like, Evander's a very kind heart Christian dude. Mike Tyson don't give a damn. You see him put his hands on that boy on a stranger, a dude who's nobody. Yeah, he don't want that life, really. Even Mike would just tell that dude, nah, I'm not gonna do that to myself. You know what I mean? Like, Mike is gonna do that. Hey, Mike, it's Mitt. He's on the phone. He wants to talk to you about doing a charity boxing.
Charity boxing.
Nah. Mike just gonna be like, nah. That dude don't know me like that, and I don't know him like that. We're not even gonna dance that. We're not even gonna dance that dance because it's gonna turn out all bad for me.
You mean we gonna be in a real ring with a ring, a real belt is gonna ring to tell me to fight?
This smells like jail time all the way. Like somebody once again. See, I should be like,
y'all set me up one time.
It's a setup all over again. Exactly.
Big giveaway.
Get up on here and kill this dang white man, and next thing you know, back to the pokey. After I done one-man shows and all this kind of foolishness. Yeah, man. It's just like, I saw that and I was like, I just cringed a little bit. Like, how much time do we have left? We got about 10 minutes. Maybe I can get through this in 10 minutes. So yesterday, I told you guys I read this article about, just to backtrack a little bit. A couple weeks ago, we told you guys how former NFL running back, former Nebraska Cornhusker star Lawrence Phillips, who's serving 32 years in jail, one for a domestic violence dispute and for some sort of battery with a car. Apparently, he tried to run down some kids that he thought stole some money from him. A couple weeks ago, his roommate, a guy who's R.J. Sowards, former USC wide receiver and Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver, his cousin was actually his roommate who was serving 82 years for murder. Former gang member.
Man. They call cellmates. They ain't room.
What did I say?
Cellmates.
I said roommates. Yeah, my bad. Got to use prison terms. I look at enough locked up.
Yeah,
it's called celly.
They might have been in the dorm.
Yeah,
right, they might have been in the dorm, but they wasn't room.
No, they wasn't in no damn dorm either. Cause that's his cell. You right to correct me on that one. Sorry, that was Freudian. Yeah, his celly. The cat. His last name was Soward, serving 82 years for murder. Former gang member in I think in some place in California. Anyway, so I'm reading this story. They still haven't charged Lawrence Phillips with murder yet because there are some very extraneous circumstances. I'm talking while I'm looking for the article, as a matter of fact, in which, for the most part, the article describes Lawrence Taylor as Lawrence Taylor. Another Freudian.
Him too.
He's going to he's on his way to the pokey. Junior. He's on his way to the pokey.
Yeah.
But that's not who I'm talking about. Lawrence Phillips. So it describes him as being pretty much the model inmate. He gets up in the morning, gets his breakfast, goes outside, and then works out. They have no weights because dudes were killing each other with the weight. Like right. This prison that he's in is not to be effed with. I'm just saying that straight up. It says here that quote, this is from the lieutenant of the jail, one of the lieutenants, the guards. He was not someone who caused problems, and he was really quiet, just doing his own thing. We have got the worst. We have got the worst of the worst in here, like I just said, the most violent of the violent, and that was not Lawrence Phillips, from what I saw, not at all. And it goes on to talk about how he asked prison officials plenty of times to put him in solitary confinement. Where you basically are in there 23 hours a day, you leave out for maybe some rec or a shower, and that's it. You're back into this little tight, confined area. But then all of a sudden, they decided to put him in this cell with this kid, Damian Soward is his name. Damian Soward.
Right, who was fresh out the hole himself, right?
Right, I guess. I'm not sure. But
I think he had been in the hole for like 3 months, something like that, prior to them becoming cellmates. And
no one has any rhyme or reason for why Lawrence Phillips was put in a cell with this guy. It just, it was weird to a lot of people who was talked to. Let me make sure I give you guys the name. Lars Anderson wrote this story. He's a guy who has actually been around Lawrence Phillips since he was in college with him. He wrote at the newspaper in Nebraska while Lawrence was playing football there. So he's got a long relationship with him. So anyway, this guy, like I said before, he's a member of the Inland Empire gangs from San Bernardino, California. He served 82 years to life for the murder of Michael Fairley, a rival gang member. Some people pretty much feel as though it was a situation where this guy was trying to up his rep in the jail. 82 years, you're never getting out. He was trying to up his rep in the jail by doing something felonious to Lawrence Phillips. And this is why Lawrence Phillips would always request to be put in solitary, because he knew he was a target. You know what I mean? He knew, being a big-time college football star, NFL player, he was a bit of a target, high-profile guy. So as a guy who's trying to stay out of trouble, I think his high school coach, who wrote letters back and forth with him, told this guy who wrote the article that he was actually trying to gain some time off for good behavior. So he just kept to himself, like you heard me read what the guard said about him. The district attorney, who has been investigating the incident for nearly 1 month, has not yet announced if any charges have been filed. So people close to Lawrence Phillips, said that they don't really feel like they need any answers. They feel like it was a situation with this guy put Lawrence in a situation where it was like, okay, one of us gonna leave out of here in the morning. Let's go. And you kind of chose the wrong guy. You know what I mean? And when you look at the situation, from when you kind of zoom out and look at the situation, you can see that, because it's kind of unlikely that a dude that's making a conscious effort to stay out of trouble and stay away from everyone, don't really have any people he kicks it with. He just alone, gets his workout in, goes to the rec room, watches some TV, goes back to his cell. It's a daily routine to all of a sudden be like, you know what I'm going to do today? Murder this dude. That don't even sound cool, right? But some other stuff came out in the story, and we only got 4 minutes left in the segment. Jesus Christ. That, when Lawrence was young, he dealt with a situation, much like in the story of Baby Boy. His mom moved in her boyfriend, he started kind of abusing Lawrence, so Lawrence ran away a lot, and he skipped school a lot. And part of the reason for him skipping school, he's trying to avoid the gang members in the neighborhood. And he ended up, long story short, in the juvenile detention center where a lady noticed him, said he looks athletic. Maybe we should, get him signed up into some sports and see how he does there. And she talked about him, taking out his aggression on the football field. And this is the part that I really wanted to talk about, because I think it's a common theme a lot of times. And sometimes we get to the point where we profile these guys in the NFL draft, and that's a part of their story. I was such an angry kid, and the football field was somewhere I could take that anger out. Here's the deal: at some point, football is going to be gone, and that amateur therapy won't be there anymore. Like, if you notice that in the kid, and I'm talking to the people who are listening to this, if you notice that in the kid, don't just dump him on the football field and say, yeah, now you can be angry all you want to. There's still an underlying problem there. If the kid's a good athlete, he's a good athlete, mad or not. But we've got to find a better way to deal with our kids, especially when we notice that they have these things going on within them. Like they talk about the story. I know, Rob, you remember this, of Lawrence getting in trouble in the Heisman, the year he was up for the Heisman, and dragging his girlfriend down the stairs. Mm-hmm. What I didn't know was the details were, we remember Scott Frost. We were actually talking about Scott Frost the other day when we were talking about white DBs. Scott Frost played quarterback for Nebraska. He was a freshman at the time, though. He wasn't playing quarterback then. But Lawrence got a call that his girlfriend was at Scott Frost's apartment. So Lawrence gets up, goes over there, kicks the door in, and was like, this ain't happening. Grabs a girl by the hair and starts dragging her down the stairs. Cost him 4 games and possibly a Heisman Trophy, because this dude wasn't nothing to F with. That dude ran for 1,700 yards as a sophomore. Like, They played an offense that no one these days would recognize, to the point where he wasn't even called a tailback. He was called an I-back, because you knew that's what it was. I formation, stop it if you can. The I-back is what Lawrence Phillips was. 1,700 as a sophomore. The record still ain't been broke. No sophomore has run for that many yards since. But, he still had those anger issues. Not only the anger issues, but the abandonment issues from his mom and the distrust in women because of his mom. And people saw this and didn't help the kid, man. He could play football, so it was cool. Now the kid's serving 32 years. Well, he's a grown man now. He's like older than me. Serving 32 years in jail. A life lost, man. We talk about, like, potential being flushed down the freaking toilet. Because we all remember the Lawrence Phillips story, like, man, what a bust. But then you read an article like this, man, and I challenge you guys to if you got some time this weekend, read a little bit, because I decided to put an intro in instead of an outro. I'm an idiot. There we go. Once again, it's called, as we wrap up this last hour of the week, it's called For Lawrence Phillips, A Dead Cellmate and Another Day of Reckoning, by Lars Anderson. He's written it for the Bleacher Report. I challenge you guys. It's a nice read, man. You get to get kind of introspective on who this dude was, not just this big, huge NFL bust. That's gonna do it, man. Another week in the books, Rob. We did it. We made it.
Eastern Conference Finals, baby.
Yeah, you better watch some basketball, man.
Woo, woo, woo.
Sports Kings Podcast. Big Mike, Rob Calloway, Spreaker.com. Don't forget, Sports Kings.